Hello, YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of the podcast for high school sports all across Western North Carolina. Oh boy, do we have a great show for you guys here today. Today we are going to be taking a look and breaking down Brevard's 21-14 Week 1 win against the Pisgah Bears, as well as dive into some other scores here and there, and predict Brevard's next big game against the Robbinsville Black Knights. So all of that coming up here on today's show. Let's go. So first off, let's break down Brevard's 21-14 victory over the Pisgah Bears. So going into this game, Pisgah was actually favored by 3 touchdowns, I was told, according to one of my bandmates who read a Citizens Time newspaper in my county, and it said, and there was an article saying that Pisgah was favored to beat Brevard by 21 points. Well, did Brevard prove them wrong? Okay, so a few things going in, as I said on the last episode. Brevard has a brand new team. They have a brand new quarterback, they have a brand new offensive playing scheme, which worked really well against Pisgah, might I add. A brand new head coach, just a brand new face, just a brand new era of Brevard football. All coming into full display here today as we take on the Pisgah Bears. Now, Luke Coleman, as I said in the previous episode, he is a Pisgah alumni, so I guarantee you that this win felt extra special for him. And all I can say is congratulations, Luke Coleman. You absolutely deserve it. And also, welcome to Brevard. So, that's that. With that out of the way, let's get into the actual playing, shall we? So Pisgah got hot very, very quickly. They took the opening kickoff all the way down to the Brevard 33-yard line, and about 5 or 6, 7 plays later, they punched it in thanks to running back Logan Free, who, in my opinion, as I said on the previous episode, was one of the biggest players that Brevard had to watch out for going into this game. So Pisgah went up 7-0. They had a great crowd as usual. They brought their band and their students. So they definitely brought a lot of fans from Milltown to come to this game. As per the usual, these Brevard Pisgah games are usually packed full to the brim. Now, Brevard did not waste any time answering. As soon as they got the ball, they marched down the field 75 yards, running the ball down Pisgah's throats, thanks to senior running back Nashawn Griffin, senior running back Jacob Stockton, and new junior running back P.J. Dishantiers, who came to us from T.C. Robertson in a little bit of a exchange, if you will. We gave T.C. Robertson head coach John Stokes, and in return, they gave us running back P.J. Dishantiers. And let me tell you, the kid had an absolutely amazing debut for Brevard, rather. And I can only see positive things going from here. I absolutely loved what he did last night. He is such a great player. I am really looking forward to watching this player throughout the season. Love him. Absolutely love him. Welcome to Brevard, PJ. All right. And now with that done, there was a little bit more of a defensive struggle. Brevard held Pisgah. The two teams held each other scoreless, tied at 7 throughout the second quarter. Pisgah had a chance to take the lead going into halftime. They picked off Brevard in the end zone for a touchback. And then they marched down the field. Caden Robinson had a huge catch that went all the way to midfield, and they kicked a field goal, and they missed it. It was no good, and as a result, the score remained tied at 7 going into the half. Now, Brevard got the ball to start the second half, and they had a very fantastic drive, which sadly ended on a fumble recovered by Pisgah, and Pisgah marched down the field about 81 yards or so, and they scored a touchdown to retake the lead 14-7. Now, with that said, Brevard was in a very, very tight situation. A situation that was very, very, very familiar with the Blue Devil faithful, as Pisgah usually puts us in a terrible situation whenever they take the lead on us. Like, Pisgah is one of those teams where if they have the lead, they have a crazy amount of momentum. Really, that's the case with any team, but with Pisgah, it's a different level from 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 my experience watching these two teams. However, Brevard did not go down without a fight. As I said in the previous video, if Brevard were to lose this game, they were going to give Pisgah literally everything they had. And you know what? That proved to be true. Brevard stayed in there, and they kept on fighting. And eventually, thanks to that powerful rushing attack, which was absolutely near unstoppable last night, might I add, Brevard just kept on fighting. I loved the spirit that I saw with this team. It was just absolutely fantastic. Way better spirit than what I saw from last year's team by a long shot. Jacob Stockton was the king for Brevard's second scoring drive. He ran over a Pisgah defender, which, I'm not going to lie, that was pretty satisfying. He absolutely ran over, I believe it was Braden Reynolds he ran over. And, yeah, and eventually he scored the touchdown to tie the game at 14 apiece. Now, where this game changed, Brevard had another drive. They were driving inside the red zone, and they caught a pass on fourth down, but the refs ruled it just short of the marker. So Pisgah got the ball back. I believe that was before the game-tying score, yeah. Pisgah got all the way up to their own 20-yard line where they fumbled the ball and Brevard recovered it. That was the game-changing play. And then, of course, Jacob Stockton running over a defender. Jacob Stockton scores a touchdown. There's that. And then Brevard managed to stop Pisgah again and then the Bears punted. And honestly, Pisgah's punting game, from what I've seen, was not really that good. Like, there were only like 20, 30, not 20, like 15 or 20 yard punts. So I really think Pisgah's special teams, at least in the punting department, is going to need to go through some work to get ready for their next game. But neither here nor there. So Brevard got the ball at the 30-yard line. They drove down the field. They took a lot of time off the clock, and Jacob Stockton found the end zone again for his second touchdown of the night, and Brevard took the lead 21-14. There was only one drive left in the game. Brevard needed to stop Pisgah, and that's exactly what they did. Pisgah drove into Brevard territory. However, on fourth down, Brevard managed to get the game-winning strip sack and win the game 21-14. And when I say a strip sack, I absolutely mean it. Our defense absolutely destroyed Pisgah's quarterback. Pisgah had a lot of injuries in this game. Like, I think three members of their offensive and defensive line got injured in this game. Thankfully, Brevard didn't. Thankfully, I believe they're all going to be okay. I believe one of them was slower to get up. So that might be cause for concern. But Pisgah needs to regroup and get ready for their next game. I believe they're playing Inca next, and Brevard has to get ready and play Robbinsville next. I have Robbinsville winning that game, but I think Brevard is going to keep it just a tad bit closer. Robbinsville did lose to Asheville this week, 26-14, so they might have shown a little bit of vulnerability there, but knowing Robbinsville and head coach D. Walsh, they definitely know how to rebound. And I wouldn't be surprised if Robbinsville took out all their anger on Brevard, because they're an annual state title contender rather, and they're on a mission to try and track down Mitchell, the team that the Black Knights lost to in last year's Western Regional Finals game. So yeah, Robbinsville has a lot of momentum. They did lose that first game against Asheville, which is always tough. But knowing the Black Knights, they'll probably rebound. The game is in Robbinsville, so I'm going to give the Black Knights a little bit of a home field advantage. I'm going to say Robbinsville wins it by a score of 44-28. Yeah, and part of the reason is because Brevard's defense was kind of hit or miss. They did come out clutch against Pisgah, but let's see if they can just do that again. And the turnovers were very big. Brevard had three turnovers. They had an interception, they had a fumble, and a turnover on downs, which in my opinion was a little bit kind of iffy. It was very close, so I won't give the refs too much flack, but yeah. Once again, neither here nor there. So, now let's get into some other scores here today. AC Reynolds shuts out West Forsyth 37-0. Smoky Mountain shuts out Cherokee 37-0. Tuscola beats Madison 55-7. West Henderson beats East Rutherford 55-0. Chase shuts out Mountain Heritage 42-0, which I thought was going to be a very, very good game, but it just turned out to be another easy win for Chase. Hendersonville beats North Henderson 46-6. McDowell wins a shootout against R.S. Central by a score of 39-36. Christ School falls to Charlotte Latin 10-6. And East Henderson knocks off Rosman 41-12. There's a lot of other scores. Polk County over Newton Conover. McDowell. Oh yeah, I already mentioned McDowell over R.S. Central. Yeah, and Patton loses to East Burke 28-0 last time I checked. But yeah, really, really good week of high school football. Lots of blowouts this week. A lot of blowouts from what I've seen. And also a shout out to the Hendersonville Bearcats for renovating their field. They are now a turf field that makes all 4 Henderson County high schools having freaking turf fields, which in my opinion is really, really nice. Really, really good job. And it looks very, 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 very cool. I cannot wait to go over to Hendersonville and see their new field and their new football team. They looked really good against North Henderson. Then again, North Henderson is a little bit of a pushover if you're Hendersonville. Hendersonville is really going to be a team that's going to be into the thick of it. Same thing with Chase. And if Brevard keeps this up, I wouldn't be surprised if Brevard could make some noise. And Polk County, of course. The Mountain Foothill 7 is definitely going to be an interesting conference this year. I will just tell you that. Okay, so with that said, that concludes this edition of the podcast for high school sports all across Western North Carolina. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive 122 signing out, ready to dive and more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.